Well, what do you know? What do you know? Tell you what I know. I definitely needed, I can't even talk, just started the video, can't even talk. I definitely needed that time off for Turkey Day. Man. Anyway, I'm back out on the road. I think in my last video I had said something about giving my the numbers for the entire time out that I ran. Plus I've been asked a few times, and I know I've done a video on it in the past about how long I stay out whenever whenever I'm running and this and that. Sorry, got sidetracked. Got to look at that truck there. Typically, whenever I stay out on the road, I usually leave on Monday and I go home the following Friday. So, like, I run 12 days. That way I'm home every other weekend. Now, I will alter that schedule as necessary. But that's typically how I run. Usually I'm gone 12 days and I'm back home every other weekend. Now, this last time out, I left the Thursday after Halloween, and I ran 15 days. I went home the Friday before Thanksgiving. Now, I did come back out and run Monday and Tuesday. And I think I've got a video that I'm going to put out that kind of touches on that a little bit. Or maybe, I think there's a couple videos that I pre-recorded. Probably see those in the next couple of days. But anyway, I just wanted to touch on these numbers and kind of show y'all how I did over the 15 days that I was out. So, like I said, 15 days, I ran 6,662 miles. I averaged 8.3 miles to the gallon. Total revenue to the truck for those 15 days was $14,315.06. Now that's an average of $954.34 a day, and it came out to $214 a mile for all miles. Now, in one of my previous videos, I did talk about, I did have a lot of deadhead on the very beginning of that. I deadheaded like 200 miles from the previous week to the house. And then my first pickup was like 200 miles. And then the next load that I picked up was 200, like, it wasn't like 200 exact, but it was right in that area. So, like, right out the gate, I had almost 600 miles of deadhead before that week even really got to rolling. But anyway, so that was how I did. Not too terrible at all. I did a short about whether or not I made a right choice or a wrong choice. It was down in El Paso and it sat for like 24 hours. And I threw those numbers in here with it. And had I done that load, it would have bumped my daily average to about 1,000 a day, but it would have dropped my rate per mile is what it would have actually, I would have ended up at like, I think whenever I crunched the numbers, like 203 a mile. Now, I had some feedback on that video, and there were some people that felt like I made the right choice, and there were some people that felt like I made the wrong choice. So I'll kind of explain my thoughts on it. So I try to run on a daily minimum. I don't always look at the rate per mile. Now granted, I do look at it, but I don't always take that as my consideration as to whether or not a load is worth hauling. I run at this current time with fuel like it is, and I run on a bare minimum of $850 a day. If a load doesn't pay $850 for a 24-hour span, I typically won't touch it. Now, that's revenue to the truck. So in order to get $850 to the truck, I've got, if it's posted on the Landstar board, it's got to pay over like, I don't remember what it, like $1150 or something like that. So typically I don't even look at freight that pays less than $1,000 on the Landstar board. Now, I know there's people out there that swear by the short game stuff. You know, they'll haul stuff, you know, a couple $600 loads or something like that. I just don't get into that too much. I feel like it's a huge risk. All it takes is one shipper, one receiver, you know, and your schedules, you know, they can just mess your whole schedule up. And when you're doing those little short things like that, I feel like you're putting yourself more at risk of somebody screwing up your schedule. Now that load was going to Albuquerque and it was paying $1,000. And I think there was some people in the comments that thought I was looking at it as whether or not it was a right or wrong choice to take the load from El Paso to Albuquerque. Well, my reload was in El Paso, so I would have had to deadhead from Albuquerque back to El Paso, so I had to take into consideration those miles also. So round trip, it was going to take me about a 24-hour span to get there and get back. Now the other part of it that a lot of people I don't think even mentioned or even noticed was it was snowing in Albuquerque. So therefore you're taking an additional risk going into an area that's snowing. It was going to a military base. The other part of it that a lot of people wasn't considering was, even though it was showing it paid $1,000, well, ultimately after Landstar got their cut, the load would have only paid the truck about $700, you know, at best $750. So by the time you figure fuel that would have came out of it and just, you know, little minor stuff or whatever, at the end of the day, I probably would have made about $300 on that load. And there was people that was saying that I was being greedy, this and that, you know. In this market, you can't be greedy. Well, I think the fact of the matter is sometimes we've got to stand our ground and say, no, like that doesn't pay. It doesn't make sense to haul that. Now, even if my reload wasn't even in El Paso, I also looked at it as if it was a one-way trip. Yeah, $1,000 would have been good for, you know, 300 miles. Or even $750. That would have been, you know, pretty decent for a 300-mile trip. But Albuquerque's a dead end. Would you take a load to Albuquerque for that? Like, come on now. Like, that was the other part of it that I didn't understand people's reasonings. But at the end of the day, like I said, after everything was all said and done, I probably would have made about $300. Well, the reason why I say I've got to make at least $850 a day is at $300 profit for the day. Like, I really start questioning, like, is it really even worth it to be over the road at that point? Because I'll tell you right now, I got a buddy that's local that moves equipment around, making over $30 an hour, and he works over 10-hour days, Monday through Friday. So a local driver who has zero stress, zero overhead, he just shows up, clocks in, does what he's told to do, and goes home. He makes that easily every day. So why put yourself in a business position and then make less than what somebody that works for somebody? I mean, does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. But ultimately what I'm trying to say though is, if we as a whole don't start saying, you know, learning how to say no, freight's not going to get no better. Like, and I know there's people that's like, you know, they say, well, we have no say so, we have no control over that, we can't. Ultimately, you have control over how you run your business. So I run my business the way I'm going to run it. I'm still out here running a lease truck that everybody says is too expensive to run in this market, but yet I still make money. So you tell me. I mean, am I doing something wrong? I don't think I'm doing something wrong. apparently I'm doing something right. So anyway, that was just my thoughts on it, and I wanted to touch base on that. And I wanted to give the numbers for that 15 days out, just to kind of let y'all know. Now I'm not going to do that all the time, like, especially like over the next last month of the year or whatever. Last month of the year now, and mainly because my schedule is going to be all over the place. Like this time out, I'm going to try to run all the way up till I go home for Christmas, which will be about 3 weeks solid. Matter of fact, I think it is straight up 3 weeks. I left out today, which is Monday, which I'm still on a load that I picked up last week. I found a load last week that I could pick up and take to the house with me, set it home for Thanksgiving, and then come out of the house and deliver it right down the road from my house. So I'm currently still running that load, which is another reason why, like, the numbers are going to be skewed. They're not going to be accurate. So like I said, I probably won't even run the numbers the rest of the, I'll run them personally for myself, but I won't be putting them out. So anyway, yeah, that's the plan. I'm gonna run for 3 weeks now. Left out on this Monday. I'll probably go home, like I said, the Monday before Christmas. That way I get right at a week off before Christmas, and from there I'll make a decision as to whether or not I'm going to run a few days between Christmas and New Year's. But I'm just rambling at this point now. So I appreciate y'all for watching. And like always, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button. Stay safe. Shiny side up, rubber side down. Catch y'all on the next one.